Hello, 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 and welcome to the 2020 World Series of Poker. Okay, so it's not quite like we had it planned, right? Well, it's not summer without the World Series of Poker, and on what would be day 37 of the 2020 World Series of Poker, it is day one of the WSOP Bracelet Online Series. 31 days in July, 31 bracelets. We'll be here every single night / early morning. Are you ready? Are you ready? Jesse Sylvia, who is alongside me in a metaphorical sense. He's not actually alongside me. Nobody is here in this current day and age. How are you, Jesse?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a little tired. I'm a little excited to watch this final table though, so that's keeping me up.
Yep. Event number one, a $500 buy-in. We had 1,195 unique players, 520 rebuys, 1,715 entries in all. The big story really coming into this final table was 15-time bracelet winner Phil Hellmuth. He finished in 11th place. He was our chip leader, I believe, with 18 to go. Just absolutely insane. We still have some big names at this table. You might recognize a few of them. Panoramic in the bottom center of your screen. That is Tony Dunst, Jesse.
Yeah, I've been playing with Tony a lot lately. He's been laying low in Vegas as well, and we've been battling online, and he seems to be winning everything in the tournament world and WSOP. So I'm not even surprised that he's here. To be totally honest with you.
Pretty crazy. On his left is Say Good Night. You know much about Shawn Daniels?
I don't know. I don't know a ton about him or his game. I'm excited to see how he plays for sure.
Well,
I
I can
think
let
I
you
just watched
know.
him eliminate Hellmuth on the bubble, final table bubble.
Yeah. Hellmuth, of course, finishing in 11th place, so close to what probably would have been about his 66th final table. And he did cash for the 155th time in his World Series of Poker career, but obviously a disappointing way to end the night, especially considering he was chip leader with 18 left. Thanks so much for joining us. First place, 130,000. So say goodnight on the button. That is a dealer. That is Shawn Daniels. He finished in 72nd place in the 2017 World Series of Poker main event. He won a 2019 Deep Stack Extravaganza. So that was last summer, won 41,000 there. He's
Mhm.
on 4.6 million chips right now. But everybody chasing the one and only Tony Dunst. Those are the two bracelet winners at this table. Shawn Daniels with two, Panoramic, of course, Tony Dunst with one. I apologize. No video on Jesse right now, but maybe we'll get him later on. Right now, you are stuck with my ugly mug. And of course, these lucky 9 final tablists. Those of you who were watching before, little shout out to Jeff Platt, my man. He was covering Phil Hellmuth's run with about 40, 50 people left. So he was doing that on his Twitch channel. I was sweating it myself. And I was sitting there going, I could not believe it. I was like, our first online event, and we're going to get Phil Hellmuth winning a bracelet, making a final table.
Yeah, that would have been pretty fun, huh? It feels like the World Series again. It feels at the final table.
Just insane. Mike the Mouth, by the way, some real notables. Of course, yourself, you cashed in this, right, Jesse?
Yeah, I had a little min cash in there.
Hey, it's better
What did
than a
Mike the Mouth do though?
Mattisau made a deep run with about 75 left. He was second in chips. There's a tweet out there. Joey Ingram has actually shown it. He clipped it. I watched it live. Mike the Mouth turned a set of fours, bet 2.5 times the pot, got called off. Guy had queens. The fours held up. That vaulted Mike the Mouth in the top 5 in chips. He was, like I said, I believe second in chips with about 75 left. Ended up flaming out in 44th place. For those of you who are joining us on Facebook, of course, on WSOP, we got an all in here. Ace, Queen, Ace, Jack in the lead and holds. DJP
Wow.
1006. Tournament life on the line does survive. Up to 3.3 million chips. Mad Titan down to 1.7.
And no one's more upset than Mad Titan, but a very close second is 0 to 100, having two blinds and not getting that base show.
Yeah, that's pretty sick, right? You're talking
Yeah.
about, reasonable pay jumps considering the buy-in is just $500. Again, we had 1,715 entries. A great way to start the World Series of Poker this summer in this unprecedented time that we are living right now in 2020. 0 to 100 all in for his last 223,000 chips. Gets called in at least one spot, both spots.
Yeah, it's interesting. I kind of expect DJP to not have the strongest of hands. He probably has something that, can handle a two big blind shove. Yeah, something like that. He's just banking on Nostradamus. I'm not going to try to pronounce that.
I think you got it
Nostradamus.
right. I think Nostradamus is exactly right, by the way.
All
Well, I
right.
will tell you that DJP did 0 to 100 a favor there because he got Nostradamus to fold. Who knows if Nostradamus would have made a pair or not? But 0 to 100's King 10 held up, and he tripled up to 791,000.
Yeah, that's pretty massive. I mean, he's got actual full equity now, so he could just potentially get a couple shoves through and be a threat again.
Yeah, for sure. Jesse Sylvia alongside me. I'm David Tuchman. Thanks for joining us. We're going to be here, and when I say we, I mean I'm going to be here. Hopefully, Jesse can join us for one or two, and hopefully we'll be commentating on him a couple as well. We'll be commentating and bringing you every single final table this summer. So July 1st all the way through the 31st, every single bracelet event on WSOP.com will be shown here on YouTube, on Facebook. I believe WSOP.com's Twitch channel will be there as well. I am paying attention to the YouTube chat, though, by the way. So if you want to join us in the chat, and as you know through the years, I like to keep these shows as interactive as possible. I am going to be paying attention to the YouTube chat. I only have so many eyes, so I can't have that many chats open. So I see you right now. Jose Gomez, Ronnie, Exotic Anthony, Lucky Seven, Dougie Money. Thanks so much for joining us, guys.
Where's this? I gotta get a link to this YouTube chat. I want to see this.
Yeah, just go to Poker Central's YouTube channel.
So what are we looking at here, Tuckman? Is this the office behind you, or
This
like you
is
have some games?
this is my office. Yes.
This
is where the
like
magic
the wife's got you in the
happens.
storage closet. Does the wife have
No,
you
it's
regulated
a
in the
nice.
storage closet?
No, in all
It's
fairness,
a
okay,
beautiful
so
room. Don't get me wrong. It just
you
looks
know
like you
what?
got a lot
Listen,
of stuff in there.
I should have known. Why did I even bring you on this show? No, the reason the office is messier than normal is because my wife is a school teacher, and as all of you know, she had to do distance learning for April, May, part of June. So she had to go to the school, get all of her stuff. So all of those black crates over my right shoulder are her school books. But you know
Got
what?
it.
Fine. You know what? I'll let her know to move them. So who cares about the kids, right?
Yeah, we got poker to play. We got gambling to gamble. Can't be having the kids taking up our space, man.
Hey, this is like 2012 all over again. No hole cards. We've done this before. We've been here before. This is going to be fun. A lot of fun here. We got blind on blind action between Tony Dunst and Shawn Daniels. That's panoramic. Say good night on his left. Of course, Tony Dunst won a bracelet. Tony Dunst, well known in the poker community as a great poker player, sharp dressed guy, super nice, and a great commentator in his own right. He obviously has taken over for Mike Sexton and does a great job at the WPT. Such a huge personality in the poker world these days.
Yeah, it was weird. I remember when he got the job, it didn't hit me, and then all of a sudden I see him in the booth, and it's like I grew up on those guys, and now it's
Right.
like I'm like Tony, I consider like a buddy, and like now I just see him in the booth, like with his suit on, just doing the like being Mike Sexton. And it's just like this crazy transformation to me. I don't know.
Norman Chad is in the chat. Says any way we can see Jesse Sylvia and only hear David Tuchman. I get it, man. Chef Snap is going to raise it up to 290,000. I'm going to round, by the way, when people use odd denominations. Say good night with the 3-bet to 840,000. Action on Mad Titan. Does he want to play for all of it? Apparently, Norman Chad is bringing me donuts each and every night at 2:30 in the morning. So I'm looking forward to that.
Like to your door, or
That I assume. I mean, it doesn't really help otherwise. We got a 3-bet. We got a 4-bet. Chef Shack
wow.
is all in for 3.3 million. Action back over to say goodnight. Who says goodnight to his hand? And we continue on 9-handed. The remaining 9 players all guaranteed $10,109. First place, $130,000. I know
Those are
there's been
pretty
some talk. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say that was a pretty interesting spot to go for with the 3-bet. I don't mind it at all. You kind of force Chef Snap to have a hand, but it's also a spot where I think like with stacks the way that they are, most people just don't 3-bet light there almost ever, and so I think he might get away with it a little bit too much if Snap Chef doesn't have a hand. Chef Snap. But it was just kind of like a hats off to Shawn for going for it in that spot because it's a scary spot.
Once again, thanks for joining us here at the World Series of Poker 2020. We're online July 1st through the 31st, and we will have the final table here for you each and every night. It'll be like old school. People will cheat me and be like, hey, when's it starting? And I'm going to answer it the same each and every time. When we get to 9, I am not a Nostradamus. I cannot predict the future. Hey, how's your better half and how are the dogs?
She's great. They're great. The dogs have been really cool actually. Our dogs are giving us good reasons to go outside and be out in the world and walk around and stuff. It's like it's been like our backyard's kind of our whole world the last 3 months, And it's nice to have our dogs keeping us company and hanging out and taking us for walks and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, dogs are great. My animals are definitely keeping me sane in these times. No doubt. Yep.
Yeah.
1,715 entries in all. We had 1,195 unique, 520 rebuys. How many times did you fire this?
Only twice.
That's not
I
bad.
managed to dodge, and I punted it off the first time. I made a bluff that was like one of those bluffs where you only really need to run it if you think the guy's really good. And this guy showed up with a hand that immediately made me realize that he's really bad.
Well, there you go.
And then,
I like it.
Yeah.
So did your min cash break you even, or did you lose money?
No, I think it broke me even. I think I finished like right at. I think maybe it was like $1,003 or something, and I was in for $1,000. So big earnings over at the Sylvia house tonight. Do you play this? Or you're in California, right?
Unfortunately, I'm in LA and I did not play this. We had Ace King versus King 10. There's the 10. 4 clubs though,
Wow.
no good. And GD Spade up to 4.6 million, and we lose our first player 0 to 100. Obviously, one of our shorter stacks out in 9th place takes home $10,109, and we are down to 8. Good news, of course, for Nostradamus, who was down to just 617,000 chips. You can do the math. That's not a lot of chips right now. We're talking about 4 big blinds pretty much, but gets the ladder up to at least 8th place.
Yeah,
The remaining 8.
We're reaching the point where pay jump start to matter a lot. Like you have like the 3K pay jump and the 5K pay jump, and then after that they start jumping like 8 to 10K per jump, and that starts to be really significant, and you start sweating those sort of things. This is like the fun part of poker, I feel like, is getting to watch the pay jumps. Like most of tournaments is pain, and then getting to sit around and watch people bust out as you make more money is like the absolute payoff of all of this, right?
Yeah, I don't get to play a lot of tournaments, and the occasional tournaments that I do play, if I ever make a deep run, there's really nothing like making a final table, making a deep run, having some chips, and just watching more money go into your wallet as people get eliminated. It certainly is addictive from a cash game player's perspective. I understand why people play tournaments. It's so much fun. 80,000, 160,000 are the blinds. I'm David Tuchman. Jesse Sylvia is alongside me. Not really, but you know what I mean.
Only in spirit.
I wish you were. Dude, you're one of my favorites, okay? When I was thinking about who I wanted to start this series with, you were at the top of my list.
I
So-
thought for sure you were gonna say someone else, and then just totally
Nah,
pump
you
me,
know-
and then be like, "But then I got you."
Right. Okay, you were the 7th guy I texted. Okay, the first 6 were all
That's
busy.
not. That's pretty good. That's like you can count that on 2 hands. I'll
Right.
take that.
Right.
Wait, when did Tony get up to 7 million? Tony just like, dude.
He
Tony,
was, by the way, with 18 left, he got into a really tough spot against Hellmuth earlier on. I was watching it. He had ace queen versus Hellmuth's kings. Flop came out ace high. Turn was a king. And
wow.
Hellmuth doubled up on that one. And it looked like Dunst was on the way out.
Mhm.
And he was actually all in at one point with like 12 left, 13 left. So he has done a fantastic job of kind of navigating through here. But he came to the final table as our chip leader. So
I just realized Tony messaged me like right before this tournament began to see if I was gonna play everything because he was doing some sort of fantasy draft. That's just like got to be a needle if he wins it right after asking like, "Oh, are you playing? I just want your like $1,000 in there for my prize pool."
it's going to be a real needle if what he was actually asking you was, hey, do you want to swap?
Yeah. I
Are
guess
you
maybe I should have
are you
brought that up.
firing? Are you firing everything?
I think so. We were actually planning to leave at some point and head to Massachusetts, and then they announced this series, and so we were like, "Oh, maybe we should stick around." Then we were still going to head to Massachusetts, and then we had some other stuff come up. We're like, "All right, that's enough reasons. Let's stick around and play these tournaments." So I think we're going to be here for all of them. Well, at least be here for most of them, and I'm obviously going to play like everything. I think there's only like one a day, right? So it'd be pretty hard to miss any of them.
DD
It's not
Spade
like, you
wins
know,
that pot.
it's not like at the World Series where there's 4 tournaments a day or whatever, 3 tournaments a day, and they're all live, so you can't just play every single one of them. You just can play all of these. It's great.
Nostradamus all in for his last 5.5 big blinds. Of course, you can see
Good
the
luck.
upcoming schedule on the left side of your screen. Tomorrow, we've got the $1,000 No Limit Hold'em 8-handed deep stack. A lot of No Limit over the next month. Not much there for the mixed game fans out there, but tons of No Limit, a little bit of Pot Limit Omaha. I think there's some PLO 8 in there as well. Get a raise here from Panoramic.
I was gonna say I'm not a tournament organizer, but if I were, I wouldn't piss off the mixed game community. That's a tough bunch to enrage.
Yeah, they'll come with pitchforks at you. I tell you.
There's a mixed game at the Bellagio that I for years I played the cash game right next to the mixed game, and the mixed game just you got like 8 old guys just yelling at each other, talking about who angled who from like 1997 and bringing up all this stuff. And you look over and you realize that they're not even playing poker yet. They're just picking which games are in the mix, and they're just like at each other's throats. It's the craziest thing.
For mixed game players, that is, I think, part of the game. Just picking what's in the mix.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, if you think about it, like you can get all your games in and not their games. Like that's a huge edge. But at the same time, they're pretty funny about how they go about it. And then you get like the treat of do you know
Got an all
what's
in
his
here.
name?
Sorry to interrupt you. Nostradamus. All in on the button. Not a lot of chips. Let's see if he gets called. He does. Queen 7 versus 9s. Not much there at all. He's looking for a queen. And instead, we get a full house for Art Vandelay. And we are down to 7. Nostradamus gone in 8th place. He'll take home $13,119. And we are down to 7. Panoramic, Tony Dunst, still our chip leader.
Mad Titan just loving it, just sitting around making money. Do you know who Art Vandelay is?
I have a little bit on Art Vandelay. I'll tell you right now. So Art Vandelay, that is Jonathan Dockler.
Okay.
Career live tournament winnings $105,000. His top cash was $100,000 this year, by the way. Won a 2020 WP Tour Borgata. He won the high roller. He's got some significant online cashes as well. Won $78,000 playing the 2020 WSOP.com Super Circuit Series. So he already won a $525 tournament. So he's got experience in that. As I look through his poker resume here, he looks like he's got a couple 100,000 in online cashes as well.
Nice, man. I thought somebody told me someone I knew was him. That's why I was asking, but the name doesn't ring a bell. But it sounds like he's got a bunch of experience at this exact sort of format. So
Yeah,
that's always nice.
We've got obviously a Poker Central team behind this, doing our best. It's a whole different world, and normally when we have a final table, we have some time to do bios, and we can look at people, we can interview guys. This is okay. Who's at the final table? Okay, you've got 48 seconds to find out who these people are. Go.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Once again, I want to welcome all of you who are watching this on Twitch, on YouTube, on Facebook. For today, I will be following the YouTube chat. That may change going forward, but right now I am following the YouTube chat, and I see there, what is Steve Hartnett? Steve Hartnett, how you doing? Says, who is Dunst? That is Panoramic. Ace Queen versus Jacks. Big one there.
Massive pot.
Huge pot. 6.1 million in there. Late position, Jacks, Ace Queen. Just a spot where it's going to play itself, Jesse?
I think so. It looks like Chef Snap just shoved for maybe 25 blinds effective. It's actually maybe he opened and Art Vandalay shoved. Either way, it's a tough spot for one player because if I'm Chef Snap and Vandalay shoves over my open, I think Ace Queen off is quite close, and maybe you could find a fold. If Chef Snap just open shoves for like 25 blinds, if you're Art Vandalay, you probably have to go with Jacks, but it's actually quite close. It's ICM does weird things. These are two hands that just never ever have to fold normally, and with the stack set up the way they are, you could actually see environments where they have to fold. Did
you do commentary with me and Patrick Leonard last year? Was it you in the booth with us?
I don't think so. I probably would remember that because I really like to listen to Pads talk.
Yeah, Pads is obviously it's a great player. 10-7 versus aces here. Oh, and look at that, the river.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And just like that, DDT Spade up to 7.1 million, vaults himself in the second place, and we're down to 6. Mad Titan, Chef Shap, loving life. I think it's Chef Shap, by the way. I thought it was Chef Snap as well. That would make more sense. And just like that, we are down to 6 players.
Yeah, and the stacks are really congregating too, right? It's sort of like the haves and have-nots right now. I guess Say Goodnight has a few more blinds than the other two, but there's just some shorties and some guys with chips. That always creates a fun environment.
Online final tables, normally we sit down, we buckle down for, 7, 8, 9 hours. Ace 7 versus Ace Queen.
Wow.
There's the Ace Queen does play right now, and it continues to play. Mad Titan all in. Doubles up to 3.1 million. A little bit of a hit for Panoramic, but still healthy on 6 million chips. As you can see, the blinds are 80,160. Levels go up every 15 minutes. Going back to what I was just saying, normally when we do these final tables at the World Series, we buckle down. We know it's going to be 5, 6, 7, 10, 11 hours. Who knows? We have done those marathon sessions. You have a ton of online experience. What does a typical final table online go?
I mean, it depends, obviously, but a regular speed one, not like a high stakes where you have super long levels. Some of them could last a couple hours, but I've seen plenty of them get done in an hour, 15, hour and a half, or something like that. I actually was just watching a guy. Stake was at a final table. He made the final table of 9. Within 4 hands, they were down to 5 players. So sometimes they go pretty quick. It just depends on the situation, the hands.
Yeah, no doubt. Mad Titans double up. Bad news for Chef Shap. Although with just 6 players remaining, everybody guaranteed at least $23,000, $22,998 to be exact. So as I said before, this would be day 37 of the World Series of Poker. You know how I know that? I know that because I've been following Melissa Burr's Twitter account. Each and every day, she puts out there. I just had her on my podcast. She's awesome. And talking about mixed players, by the way, who loved all those mixed events. Melissa Burr every single day tweets out from Burberry. Today would be day 14. I would be doing this, and really funny. I mean, I think when we think of the great poker Twitter accounts out there, usually, we think Jamie Kerstetter, we think, Farrah Galfond has been pretty funny as of late. There are a handful of people out there that have just been on fire, but I've got to give Burberry some credit. Strong. She's been
Yeah,
entertaining me during this last couple of months.
she's
Queens versus
consistent
Ace
too.
5. Chef Chap needs help. It does not come. And Chef Chap is gone in 6th place. He'll take home $22,998. We are down to 5. Would you say she's consistent?
Yeah, she's putting up her content every day. I don't think she thinks of it as content. I think she's just funny. But
Yeah.
she's getting it out there every day. She's consistent. That's like when you're sitting around at home 24 hours a day because you can't go outside because of this whole quarantine thing. It's nice to have stuff like that. It's the little things in life, Tuchman.
Hey, no doubt, man. Listen, I've been essentially stuck home with the family. The dogs are keeping me sane. I've got 2 young boys. It's been an adventure.
Yeah, I bet.
Had a bit of a COVID scare, but we all tested negative, so we're good to go. Mask up, stay healthy. Art Vandelay
What's that?
raising it up. Going to get called by Dee Spade. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, what's that like having the kids at home 24 hours a day right now? I know it's summertime, right? So they're not even in school or anything.
Dude, they haven't been in school since March. I mean, what do you mean it's summertime?
Well, they weren't taking E classes at least then or something.
No, they were, but I mean, I'd see my kid's 6 and 3.
Oh, okay, yeah, fair enough.
I mean, he's not learning organic chemistry.
Yeah, he's painting pictures and stuff. So.
Well, no, I mean he's learning, but it's more of hey, Dad, let's play math games together. No, it's been listen, it's obviously like everybody out there, it's challenging, and there are some some great things about it, and you try to figure out what's good and what's tough, and you deal with it. Got a raise here from Art Vandelay on a King of Spades turn. This is interesting. I'm telling you, my game is going to really improve over the next 30 days as I watch this cards down. For those of you watching this and wondering, where the cards, back in 2012, we covered an entire World Series of Poker the entire summer with no cards up. It's a great learning tool. It really puts you in a position where you've got to try to figure out what ranges players have, where people are at.
Yeah, that was an interesting spot because he checked back flop. So you create this scenario where he's capped. He can't have certain 2 pairs anymore. He'll always bet them. And DD Spade could be trapping, so he's not capped. So you have to be really careful. If you raise too much and DD Spade comes over the top, you either fold too much or you get it into light. So you have to be very careful about how many hands you actually choose to raise on the turn when you check back the flop. I've seen players even play a strategy where they just only call if they check back flops, even if they improve to 2 pair in the turn. And it makes the strategy a lot easier to play than trying to figure out which ones to raise and which ones to call and so on and so forth. But they're also just really worried about just not having poorly balanced ranges. When you're playing in a tournament like this and you never see the guy again, it doesn't matter as much. But when you watch guys who play high stakes heads up and they play thousands of hands against each other, that kind of stuff really comes into effect and matters a lot.
That sultry voice is Jesse Sylvia. Jesse Sylvia, of course, a great poker player, runner-up to Greg Merson many years ago at the World Series of Poker main event, commentates a lot of poker, and he's just an all-around great guy. John Tomlin asking who I was talking to. That is Jesse Sylvia. DD Spade, by the way, that is Michael Ballin, 34 years old. Interesting little factoid about him. He is a former Yu-Gi-Oh champ.
Who is this?
So this is DD Spade. Michael Ballin.
No way.
34
That's
years old.
cool.
Yeah. Now, not as a child, by the way. He was a former Yu-Gi-Oh champ at 27 years old. So
I always like this like double champion concept that we have in poker. We almost had what was his name? Papa. He was a ping pong champion. He made the final table a few years ago.
I love that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, it kind of
I was rooting
highlights
for
what's
him to
great
win
about
it.
poker, isn't it? I mean, that's what
Yeah,
highlights what's great about poker and the fact that all walks of life play this game, you know, whether you're a ping pong player, whether you're an athlete, whether you're a lawyer, whether you're a derivatives trader, or whether you're a Yu-Gi-Oh champ, or what do you, I mean, I don't
hmm
even know. Do you have any other talents at all? No, right? This is it.
I'm able to make awesome, good-looking girls stay with me despite being a massive pain in the ass at any given time.
So
Well,
okay. So you
I
run
should
good
say
in
that
life and
singular. Awesome, good-looking girl to stay with me.
yeah, I was going to say, you get yourself in trouble there. So
Yeah.
basically you run good at tables and you run good in life.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm just riding the lucky guy wave, and it's going pretty well so far. And I don't really foresee changing that. That's kind of my
Exotic Anthony
plan.
pointing out Magic. Yeah, Magic the Gathering. A lot of poker players came from that.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of game playing strategy games where people come from and play poker as well. Continue. I mean, Jen Shahade, obviously a world class chess player, also commentates on that. Blinds are now 100,000, 200,000, as I mentioned.
Dan
Some
Smith is
notables
quite
that
good at
made.
chess.
He's good. Yeah, he's a really good chess player as well.
Yeah.
I'm an adequate chess player at best. Some notables that made deep runs in this. Mike Matusow made a run. He was second in chips with 75 left, flamed out in 44th place. Speaking of COVID, he actually said on his stream, he was streaming this on Twitch, said COVID has actually been really good for him financially. He's been able to play some poker online, and he's run really well. He's almost out of debt, apparently. So congratulations to Mike the Mouth. If you go on Twitter, you'll notice that I don't know if he still knew that he was streaming or he just did it on purpose. But even after he got knocked out, his stream was still on and he's sitting there in his underwear. Now, I am just going to put this out there. Full disclaimer. Go in there, with your eyes open. Be careful, okay? This is a half-naked Mike the Mouth. I don't know if anybody wants to see that. Say goodnight all in from the small blind. Has Mad Titan covered. Mad Titan folds. Phil Hellmuth, of course, looking for bracelet number 16. What a story that would have been. Looked like he was destined to make this final table. He was chip leader with 18 left. And we watched it just all unfold. Queens versus kings, ace queen versus ace king, and he just kept doubling up shorter stacks before eventually getting himself knocked out in 11th place. That was his 155th career World Series of Poker cash.
I think he was so much as like third place with 14 left too. He's still pretty far up in the chip counts, even as they got closer to the final table.
It seemed like the way he plays, it just seemed like a foregone conclusion that he was going to make the final table.
Yeah. He certainly isn't out of line, especially this deep in the tournament.
Norman Chad is getting in fights with people in the chat in our chat room here. Norman, come on, be nice. Ace deuce versus fives. Panoramic's going to win a nice pot. That's Tony Dunst. He already has one bracelet to his name. He's up to 7.8 million.
I don't know, man. Tony sells this image of being like kind of tight, solid guy, and then he just wins all these pots without any showdown. I never see what he has. I just always get the feeling like he's up to something over there.
He is just one cool guy. Obviously, his online name Bond, right?
Yep, Bond 18.
He just fits that mold. I mean, if there was somebody in the poker industry right now that, like, if you had to cast a poker player, a well-known poker player, to be the next James Bond, it would be him, right? Despite the name. He just plays that role so well.
Yeah, yeah, I think he wins that one for sure. I used to that name like brings me back, man. I used to read his blog when I was first really getting into poker. I was still in college and doing all right in online tournaments in college, and he was writing a blog already and doing really well at tournaments. And I don't know, it's like it's crazy. He's had quite the career.
Yeah, he's done very well for himself. Of course, a great poker player, very talented in so many different ways. And we see it on display right here. Looking for bracelet number 2. I misspoke earlier, by the way. I said we had another bracelet winner at the table. Not a bracelet winner. Say goodnight. Say goodnight is not a bracelet winner. Instead, that is Shawn Daniels, and he is actually a 2-time circuit ring winner. So my apologies for that. Both, by the way, in online events. One earlier this year where he won $75,000 in a 1K, and then one back in 2018 where he won 83,000. So obviously very proficient at the online thing. Mike
Bracelet
Munier in the
ring.
chat says he also final tabled 3 other tournaments today. Wow. He's having a day then, I tell you that.
That's
Art
insane.
Vandelay.
Just on WSOP?
Yeah, apparently. Well, I don't know for sure, but I know Clayton Fletcher, more on him in a second. Art Vandelay, Panoramic, the 2-chip leaders here battling in this pot. Small pot, though. Blind on blind. Doesn't look like either player wants to put much in there.
Yeah, the way the stacks are set up right now, these guys are just highly incentivized to not play a pot against each other and to play very low variance pots when they get into blind versus blind confrontations.
Dunst wins a small one. He has position on Art Vandelay as well, which is obviously very valuable. Yeah, talk about pay jumps right now. I mean, how that affects the play. With 5 players left, everybody's guaranteed just under $31,000. But the pay jumps now are very significant. We're talking about a $12,000 pay jump between 5th and 4th, a $28,000 pay jump between 5th and 3rd. So, going back to what you were just saying, I mean, obviously that is going to affect your style, right, Jesse?
Yeah, and just the fact that there's some very short stacks that could bust at any given time. Every time you don't play a hand, you make a little bit of money because on average, somebody busts that hand some small fraction of the time, and it's just like when the 2 chip leaders have most of the chips in play, and then the other 3 have very few, and that's not that many blinds. You just really aren't looking to play a big pot against each other if you don't have to. It's not like collusion or anything. It's just your incentives align. And so you just see these blind versus blinds where people bet a lot less as a bluff and bet a lot, less thin for value, and there's a lot of checking done. And it can be very frustrating when you're a short stack and the big stacks never play a pot, but that's just kind of like the nature of how this whole thing works at final tables. Final tables are crazy, man. They're like a whole nother format of poker. Like you could throw like ICM, like final table, into like a mix game and like try to play that format the best or whatever, and it would be like something else to learn. Like they're very different from any other No Limit Hold'em variant. If that makes sense.
I remember it does. I remember commentating with Patrick Leonard last year at the World Series of Poker, and some of the hands that he was suggesting were folds got me, and actually Brent Hanks was in the booth with me, and both of us just like our eyes were just bulging out like, wait, you're folding this hand? And he was like, yeah. And he mentioned the term, and I'm forgetting it right now, but essentially the gist behind it is every single time you fold at a final table, you're making money. Even if you don't actually make money. He goes, every single time you fold, you're making money because every time you fold, there's a chance that 2 players behind you will collision factor, I guess. And every time if there's a collision and one person gets knocked out, you make money.
Pretty much, yeah.
And
sometimes 2 people get knocked out.
Looks like Daniel Strelitz is in the chat. What's up, my man? Art Vandelay, say goodnight. Mixing it up here. I still can't believe Phil Hellmuth finished in 11th place in this event. Just for the record, I'm just curious for everybody out there. How big does Phil Hellmuth's head get if he actually wins bracelet number 16 in an online event?
That was a question I was asking myself an hour ago. God, Phil's just the best, man. I like Phil's just amazing. He's got like this legendary ego personality, whatever, that's just like, I don't know. I know people actually get mad about it, but you just can't hate on that. It's a beautiful thing. Did you read that Jason Kuhn tweet the other day?
Which one? I'm such a big fan of Jason Kuhn, so I read everything that he writes. Which one are you talking about, though?
It was about Phil, where he said the first time he met Phil, he played with him at the table. Phil was like real nice. They talked for like hours. They got along really well. And Phil busts. He gets up and he goes, "Well, kid, I hope you learned some things today," or something like that.
Yeah, he was referencing the 2009 World Series. I remember that. Yeah, that's a great tweet.
Oh my God.
Fumble Monk asking for a 4-card deck. No, I am in Jeff Platt's school of thought here. No 4-card deck. This is traditional. 2 cards. Two colors. We can tell the difference between a diamond, a club, a spade, and a heart, can't we? I mean, I get it if we're like multi-tabling and we've got 8 tables going on. I understand then. But we're watching one table here. This shouldn't be that hard, right? Blinds now 120,000, 240,000. I believe the players are going on a break in about 4 minutes. These breaks are super quick. Enough time for you to go get yourself a beer, do what you got to do, and come on back. Again, we're going to be here every single night. And if you're wondering, but Tuck, it's too late. These aren't going to last that long. My guess is most of them are going to start around, a little bit after midnight, maybe 1 a.m. Pacific time, and they'll probably be over by 4 a.m. Easy go. Come on. It's not, dude, it's fine. You wake up the next day at 10, you do your day, you take a nap. I just got myself a hammock. It's all good, man. Art Vandelay raising it up to $1.2 million. We get a call here from DD Spade.
Wow. This is kind of wild that he called.
Right? No, and
it's almost
you
a third
think
of his
it's
stack.
shove or fold, right?
Yeah, I mean, against that size was what, like 5 times the big blind? I would think he'd be playing more of a shove or fold strategy against that. And I mean, there's certainly hands that make sense to limp call, but
King 4, Queen 10, it's over.
Wow.
For DD Spade. And look at Art Vandelay. Wow.
That was that was a really unfortunate run out when you call for a third of your stack.
Yeah. Wow. Panoramic, by the way. I don't know what Tony Dunst meant to say there. I just saw the ... But DD Spade gone in 5th place. He takes home $30,947. Talk about Mad Titan. Talk about laddering up like a friggin' boss.
And this is exactly what we're talking about. Like, he made a couple tight folds somewhere in there, and somebody went bust and he made $12,000. It's a pretty nice, it's a pretty nice reward for making a tight fold.
For just basically going, you know what? I'm just gonna sit here. I'm gonna let them play poker.
Yeah.
Once again, DD Spade is Michael Ballin, 34 years old. Adds a 5th place finish to his poker resume. We're down to 4. One of those 4 players, of course, Panoramic. That is Tony Dunst. Player on his right, though, Art Vandelay, is our chip leader with 12.8 million chips. Tony Dunst, the only player here with a bracelet, looking for number 2.
Man, how sick is Tony? We all think of him as like the commentary guy now, and he just actually has like an insane poker resume. He got heads
people
up
out there. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just say he also got heads up in Aussie Millions. He's done.
Yeah, no, the dude, he's been crushing. And by the way, Mike Munier, when he said that it was 3 final tables, it wasn't DD Spade, or it was actually it's Tony Dunst. Apparently, has made 4 final tables today.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
That
just crush it.
that makes sense to me. I haven't seen him not at a final table on WSOP.com since this lockdown started, man.
Well, I
He's
mean,
just been
listen, you've
destroying
got.
everything.
I feel like there's a whole bevy of commentators out there, right? And there's been jokes about, hey, why don't we have a Poker Central commentators game, right? And you've got the commentators who can play, and then you've got the commentators who can't play. So, like on one side of the spectrum, you've got like Nick Schulman and Tony Dunst, right?
Hmm.
And then on the other side of the spectrum, I guess you got like Norman Chad and Jamie Kerstetter, right?
Wow, you're just gonna throw my homies under the bus, huh? I
No,
like
I'm
it.
sorry. I'm sorry. You're right. Jamie kind of shouldn't play. So we've got Norman Chad on one
Oh
side,
wow.
and you've got let's just, you know what? Let's just stick here. Let me see if I can do this or not. Hey,
You better stay. You're gonna be in so much trouble, man. Norman doesn't forget these things.
this was good stuff. I mean, these breaks are so short.
Yeah.
They might cut us off. I don't know. The break is like 3 minutes and 48 seconds. It's just enough time for me to like take my mic off, think I have time to do something, and then miss the first hand or two.
What do you got going? You got coffee over there?
I had my coffee. Bam, got my
Wow.
coffee. Got a water. Yeah, I'm good to go, man. I'm good to go. No, but okay. So we're talking about poker commentators out there, and obviously with Twitch now, there are so many out there. I mean, Lex is a great poker player, obviously, but I kind of feel like he's a poker player who's just taken it to that level, right? Jason Somerville, that level. You've got that kind of commentator, that kind of entertainer, and they all do a great job. But in terms of the commentary out there, the Jeff Platts of the world who do a great job, who obviously can play poker, the Nick Schulman, who's just another level, obviously. Tony Dunst, another level entirely, I think.
Mhm.
You're obviously you commentate as well. I know you've done a bunch of things. You've done some stuff at Aria and everything like that. You're obviously a poker player first, commentator second. Um, yeah, so it's just kind of funny
Humanitarian
where
third.
are you a humanitarian? Is that one of your things?
No, but that's why it's third, you know?
Distant third. I like it.
Yeah.
I like
I
it.
dabble. I dabble. I throw a nickel in the penny jar every now and then.
Norman Chad in the chat says, Jeff Platt, can you live stream my PLO8 table Monday afternoon? I don't know. Jeff, do you have 6 minutes to spare?
Wow.
Come up, kid says Norman Chad is a great Norman Chad is a great stud player, I've heard. No, he's not. No, he's not. He's not a great stud player. Sorry. Hey, Norman, it's 1:57. You should not be on the chat. You should be in the car bringing me donuts. Come on, let's go. No, I seriously love Norman Chad. He is one of the few people that I've seen during quarantine, by the way. He came over for dinner one night. Did I lose you, Jesse? Or are you just so
Oh
are
no,
you so are you so flabbergasted
I
by that? You just don't know what to say.
I'm just thinking of all the things Norm's gonna do to you on social media now that you've
He does it anyway.
Yeah,
You can
that's
see
true.
the players that were eliminated there. Number 11th, Loom stacking. That is Phil Hellmuth, by the way. That is the myth, the legend that is 15-time bracelet winner Phil Hellmuth. Once again, he made a deep run here with about 18 players left. He was first in chips. As Jesse said, with 14 left, he was third in chips. But queens into kings, ace queen into ace king, and before you know it, he went from chip leader to out in 11th place. 4 players remain. It is Art Vandelay, who is our chip leader. Panoramic, Tony Dunst, currently second in chips. All these players guaranteed $42,000. Jesse, the World Series of Poker took a little bit of heat for putting this out there. Some people said, it cheapens a bracelet. What are your thoughts on that?
I can't stand that argument, man. I don't really get it. First of all, we already have online events. I guess maybe those people are arguing against online events in the first place. I mean, they did a one drop that was capped at like 54 people. So you had a 1 in 54 shot if you're an average player winning a bracelet. Like there's ways to win bracelets easier. I mean, if you want to, you can go like, if you really want to, you could go get like stud coaching all year and play the 10K stud event, and there's like 90 people in it. I don't understand like the cheapening of the bracelet, but I mean, like, don't get me wrong. I grew up on poker, right? Like I wanted a bracelet my whole life. I just think that like the argument that it being online is something different. Yeah, it's like a slightly different game, but like let's also enjoy this thing that's a big part of poker, and it's this other beautiful thing that goes on, and it's fun to watch, and it moves at a faster pace, and it's different, and I don't know.
Okay. Well, I was curious of your take. I mean, I've kind of put up my take on that as well, and yeah, I think it's great. I mean, 1,195 unique players, 1,715 entries. You win this tournament, you deserve it. So, and some really good talent in the field as well. So, listen, this is not a slight on the Puggy Pearsons of the world back in the 1970s, but I mean, I'm looking at one right now, and there's just tons of bracelets that were awarded back in the 70s, but like this. Puggy Pearson basically won a stud sit and go. He beat 7 players to win a bracelet in 1973.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So, yeah, so I just like, okay, listen, you know, would we all love to be at the Rio playing live poker? Yeah, of course we would. I mean, but it's 2020, and this is the hand we've been dealt, pun intended. Make the best of it. And as far as I'm concerned, if you either live in Nevada, you live in New Jersey, you're lucky as heck. You can play poker. If you don't live there and you can, go there for a week or so, it'd be fantastic. I would tell you right now, if I wasn't commentating on each and every event, I definitely would have rented a cabin in like Lake Tahoe for a couple of weeks and played a bunch of these events.
I love that idea.
Why not, right?
That's the play for sure.
Yeah, I'm not listening. If I can play
on the lake,
right,
you're doing it.
Well, the thing is, listen, if I have a choice, I mean, I would love to be at the Rio playing poker or commentating, right? But if I can't be all in here from Panoramic, obviously it's not for all of his chips. Mad Titan does fold. Panoramic picks that up on the button. I would love to be at the Rio. I want to be in Vegas each and every summer. But if we can't play poker live and I've got to play it online, then got an all in and a call. Ace-8 versus 9s. Looking good for the 9s. Top set. Wow. Drawing dead. Panoramic. Full double up here for Say Goodnight. He's up to 3.6 million chips. Kind of a little bit of a cooler spot, right? Panoramic? Raise call off with the Ace-8?
Yeah, I think so. He's going to be somewhat tight into Art Vandelay's big blind. And by somewhat tight, I mean he's going to be considerably tighter than he normally is from the cutoff. But, I think that if he thinks he can get away with opening that hand, that's totally reasonable. And obviously, you're never getting away with it once you open. The guy's got 5 big blinds, so you just kind of have to hit an ace at that point. But that's pretty big for Say Goodnight. I mean, not only does he have he's got a lot of breathing room to let Mad Titan bust, but also he can actually have some playability now. Once Mad Titan busts, he was in a spot where he just kind of had to wait Mad Titan out to either double up or get knocked out. And he was going to have 2 big blinds once one of those 2 things happened. And instead now, if Mad Titan goes out in a couple hands, he actually has room to get folds and play a little bit of poker and have a real shot at winning the tournament.
Jesse Sylvia is my partner in crime today, helping out in the commentary. We appreciate your time, Jesse. Thank you so much for joining us. Art Vandelay is going to bet this turn $350,000 on the 7 of diamonds. Action on Panoramic. He makes the call. Ace of hearts on the river. You certainly think that would favor Art, but maybe not. What do you think?
Yeah, I think Art's going to have more aces in his range, and he's going to have stuff like Ace-4 and Ace-8 that check call the turn.
But it's Tony Dunst, Panoramic, who is betting.
That was a big bet. You didn't tell us your thoughts. I'd like to hear your thoughts on the whole cheapening.
I'll get to that in a second. Anyway, So if I'm going to play online poker, if I was going to travel for online poker and I had to choose between New Jersey, Nevada, I'm choosing Nevada every single time, right? Unless I can go to like
Sure.
maybe like South, like I don't know. Yeah, I'm choosing Nevada, and I'm specifically choosing Lake Tahoe. Be on a lake in the middle of during the month of July. If I don't have to be in Vegas, I'm not going to be in Vegas, right?
I would imagine if I could be anywhere in the world, uh, Vegas in the summer would be one of the last places I'd be. And I live here. I love Las Vegas, but man, it's not great in the summer.
Yeah, listen, yeah, Vegas is a fantastic city. It's my second home. I spend at least 2 months there every single year. But there's a 2-month window in Vegas that makes it quite tough. All in here. There's the call. Ace Queen versus Queen 7. Mad Titan in great shape. Needs to fade a 6 or a 7. Does it? Mad Titan with the double up.
All right, this is kind of fun.
This is kind of fun. The short stacks just keep doubling up.
Yeah.
We're basically back where we were when we came back from break.
Yeah. Two doubles later. That's kind of what happens though. These guys have to fold a lot to wait each other out, and then one of them finds a hand against either Tony or Art Vandalay opening some garbage, and they usually win, or sometimes they get knocked out, and then you rinse and repeat. That's going to be like a huge theme.
Jesse Sylvia offering some insight into this final table. Are you noticing anything kind of out of the ordinary with these players, or is it pretty standard right now? We got a raise, we got a 3-bet from Mad Titan. It's $1 million back over to say goodnight. Pot is 2.3 million, so he's getting a good price. And he does make the call. Ace 4 versus Kings. Ace on the river, not going to happen.
Wow.
Kings hold. And just like that, it's say goodnight who's our short stack. What a turn of events here.
This is becoming a really good spot for Art Vandalay. As he pulls away, Say Goodnight and Mad Titan have to fold a lot to wait each other out. But Tony also, it would be terrible if he busts before the other two players with the stack setup. So Art could really put a lot of pressure on. So far, he's been kind of laying back. He might just be super card dead or something, or he might just have a different approach than me in these spots. But
yeah, I tend to agree with you. Obviously I've covered a lot of these final tables, and listening to people like you and Patrick Leonard and Brian Rast and so many great players through the years, I feel like I've learned something. Two things that panoramic Tony Dunst has going for him. Number one, he's on Art's left. Number two, Art is not really leveraging that big stack, because Art could theoretically, like you said, he could really be raising 70-80% of the hands if he wanted to.
Yeah, he could go pretty crazy. I mean, he can't be like totally insane, because in theory, Tony could just start shoving a lot on him and he wouldn't have enough defense, but he can get pretty out of line, and it's quite difficult for anyone to do anything about it without, costing themselves money. There are a lot of interesting spots at final tables where, let's say I shoved all in with a hand that's somewhat light, but you're supposed to fold a lot, right? Because you're waiting on another stack. But let's say that you decide to call with a hand that's not supposed to be a call at a final table, but you just want to make your stand, and you were right and you're ahead. You're going to feel good that you're right and you're ahead. But what really ended up happening was you cost yourself money with the call. You cost me money with the call, and everyone else at the table made a bunch of money off of the two of us. And that actually happens a lot, especially in like live tournaments where people don't really know how final tables are supposed to be played out.
And that's hard for people to wrap their head around, because the time you make that call, even if you're ahead and you hold, you feel like, yep, see, I made the right call, because you're results oriented.
Mm-hmm.
But try to just go into what you're saying in terms of you cost yourself money in that regard.
Yeah, it's rare that you'll see a spot where your hand is ahead and it may not be a good call. But if you ever see that spot, it's almost always at a final table.
Well, okay, so Daniel Strelitz, and anybody who doesn't know, Strelitz is an amazing poker player, good guy. He's in the chat. He says Art can literally shove every hand blind here. Blinds right now are what, 120, 240? What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, that seems pretty reasonable. Tony's
the pay
going
jump
to
between
have...
fourth and second. The pay jump between fourth and second is $38,000.
Yeah, and the way that you think about it is like, so what is he risking? If Mad Titan or Say Goodnight wake up with a hand, he's only losing out on 10 big blinds, and they don't show up with a hand that often. Tony loses when Tony wakes up with a hand, you lose 20 big blinds. Actually more. It's like 25 big blinds. But because Tony's stack is larger than the other players, he shows up with a hand a lot less because he has to have a stronger hand to call.
King 7 versus 10s here. Mad Titan is all in at risk. Oh!
Wow, that's
King
so
on
sick.
the river. And Mad Titan with a big double up, and that changes the complexion of this final table a little bit. Because
For sure.
going back to what you were just saying, if Art Vandelay wants to play aggressive, and he's really not going down that road, the road that we're talking about, he's not going down. But losing 2-3 million off of 14 million isn't a big deal. He doesn't want to lose 5 million off of his 11 million stack. He can really get hurt now by those stats.
For sure. Yeah, it's always scary putting pressure on people, because a lot of time putting pressure on people means saying all in when you have a bad hand, right? And that's not a very fun thing to do. But if you spend enough time playing out final tables, you'll find out just how often people are folding, and you'll start feeling better and better about it, basically. Then again, you might just run into the guy who's stubborn.
Yeah. Art Vandelay is 12.1 million. We always talk about ICM and all these different things, and people kind of, they're like, oh, this guy has to fold. They'll be like, yeah, you think he has to fold, and ICM dictates that he should fold, and the pay jump dictates that he should fold. But there are some guys that are just like, whatever, they're over it and they don't care, and they're like, no, I'm gonna call. I've got king queen here. I think it's good. I'm calling my 21 big blinds.
Yeah.
We've all got those
many
situations.
of those people. Yeah. It's interesting too, because as you begin to dissect these spots and look at the math behind them, you have to take into account that there's just a percentage of the population that's just going to call you off really light compared to what they should be calling, and that's a serious consideration to make when you go all in. Art Vandelay might be putting that into account too. We don't know.
By the way, Art Vandelay also has an online circuit ring. The 2020 WSOP.com Super Circuit Series 525 No Limit Hold'em Monster Stack came in first place for just under $78,000. By the way, speaking of Hellmuth and, of course, Tony Dunst, who are watching play here, 2019, Dunst finished second at the 5K No Limit Hold'em, lost to Carl Shaw. Phil Hellmuth was sixth in that tournament.
Jeez. Did you say that he had 45 or 48 or something final tables at the World Series?
He has over 60.
Over 60. Okay. I was going to say he won a third of his final tables. That means if it was 45, that'd be crazy. I mean, even 60 is crazy.
Ace 10 versus Kings here. Say goodnight.
Oh, wow.
Looking for a 7 or an ace. Jack of clubs not going to do it, and say goodnight. Say goodbye. Too easy. Sorry. I go for the low-hanging fruit if I can. Say goodnight has gone in fourth place. He'll take home $42,000 for his efforts. Say goodnight once again. That is Shawn Daniels. Adds a fourth-place finish here at the 2020 World Series of Poker Online Bracelet Series to his impressive poker resume. We are down to 3 players. Panoramic, Tony Dunst on 7.7 million. Mad Titan at 5.6. Both chasing our chip leader, Art Vandelay, who is on 11.7 million. Talking about Phil Hellmuth for a second, over 60 final tables. One of the things that's really impressive, about 40% of the time, though, he'll finish first or second. He has 15 first place, 15 bracelets, and then 11 runner-ups.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah.
He's made heads up, 30% of the time he's played a final table, maybe more. I mean, I guess that's not, totally crazy, but... I mean, you're just averaging top 2 way higher than the average player would. If you're a good
I'll
poker
throw this
player,
at you. Let me ask you this: 150 guy has 155 cashes. When you cash a tournament, what percentage of the time would you finish? Would you think you'd finish first or second?
At a World Series tournament where there's a lot of players, I'm trying to think of how big those fields are. Maybe like you finish top 2, maybe like somewhere between 1% and 2% for the time you cash it. Maybe it's lower.
Well, do the math then for me, because Phil Hellmuth had his 155th World Series of Poker cash today.
Well,
And
no,
he has
I'm sorry. Between 0.5% and 1%, probably.
Okay, well then even worse. 155 cashes now for Phil Hellmuth, and he has 26 top 2 finishes.
Yeah, that's wild. I mean, his like every time I've seen stats about the World Series with Phil Hellmuth, it's crazy. I think one time Fees, a lot of online guys who were like Phil's bad, like whatever. Fees broke down his last like 25 years of results at the World Series. He's like, let's just assume that he played every single no limit tournament that was ever allowed at the World Series. He still has like, and the numbers that he came up with were insane. Like his ROI would be like 400%. And there's no way he played every single tournament, so it's better than that. His ROI was amazing, and it was just like the whole thing was so crazy. Phil has put up ridiculous stats at the World Series of Poker.
Yeah, and listen, I mean, I feel like there are some athletes out there that don't have the perfect form. They might not look pretty when they're doing something, and I think for many years now, we've had the technical math guys in poker just criticizing Phil Hellmuth for his game, telling us how this is just wrong. This is terrible. He's awful. I can't believe he does this. Oh wow, what is he doing? All these different things. And I think at the end of the day, just like an athlete, after a while, listen, if it's a small sample size, you can be like, yeah, the guy gets lucky. But after a while, you just got to look at the results and just go, hey man, scoreboard.
Yeah. It's tough to argue with that scoreboard.
Yeah. It really is tough. We will be back at it, by the way, tomorrow. Probably around the same start time, maybe a little bit earlier. Obviously, this is a very fluid situation. We're just figuring it out ourselves. But once the final table is here, we'll be here. It'll be $1,000 No Limit Hold'em 8-handed deep stack. I do not know who will be joining me, but we'll figure it out on the fly.
Well, Stralis is in the chat box. Maybe you can get him, talk him into coming on.
Well, I'll probably make the final table. By the way,
yeah.
I've got our research team over at Poker Central is on it. Hellmuth's lifetime heads-up tournament, a heads-up record. This is not just World Series of Poker. His heads-up wins-loss record is 59-39. So when he gets heads-up for a championship, he wins 60% of the time.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the crazy thing. Of all the times he cashes in a tournament, he gets heads-up 27% of the time.
That's absurd.
Yeah, that's lifetime, not just World Series of Poker.
I mean, that's like
absurd.
Yeah, I don't know what the word for it is, but like that feels mathematically impossible.
You know what that is, man? That's white magic.
That's white magic. That is something not describable by me that he's doing that gets you there. My favorite Hellmuth thing as of late was the 5K turbo. Like these turbos, like, okay, Phil does other stuff well. We don't know what it is. Cool. The turbos require an enormous amount of technical skill because you're just super short stacked most of the tournament. And if you don't have a really strong technical game, like no level of creativity is going to get you through that, right? And Phil just final tables the 5K turbo, and then the next year he final tables it again, he wins it. And that was the point where I was like, all right, whatever, Phil's the man. I mean, not that I was ever like really trying to argue against him or anything, but like, it's just like it's
just gotta
crazy.
Tip your hat. You know who else is the man right now? Mad Titan.
Mad Titan is the man.
No, I mean, when we started this final table, Mad Titan was one of the short stacks we were referencing when somebody, was almost out, and we're like, wow, okay. And Mad Titan is now in second place in chips. Got 8.1 million. He's a player in this.
Maybe they should give him the commentary job at the WPT.
Ooh, shots fired. Shots fired, I tell you. Of course, Tony Dunst taking over for the legend that is Mike Sexton. I recently, Mike Sexton gave me his book, and just it's a fantastic read. If any of you want to read it, it's not a strategy book. It's just I have. It's not a strategy book. It's just a lifetime of stories. And if there's anybody out there who has stories, some of these old time poker players just have some of the most amazing stories, whether it be gambling, golf related, poker related, whatever it might be. They're just some gold.
It's a really good book.
Yeah. Panoramic right now, all in there. So an open from Mad Titan on the button. Panoramic, Tony Dunst, all in for 7 million chips. Mad Titan has not insta-folded. He does fold now, though. And at this point, 3 ways, this is anybody's tournament. And as is normally the case, no deals are at the World Series of Poker when you're playing for a bracelet. So let's play it out.
Do you know what Art Vandelay is from?
Where is he from? I don't. Let's see what I got on him.
No. Do you know what that name is from?
No. What is it from?
I believe that is George Costanza's fake name that he always goes with in Seinfeld.
Oh, is that
his architect name, isn't it?
That could be. I think that is right. I mean, it's been a while since I've watched Seinfeld, but I would say with like 81% certainty that you're correct.
I'm pretty sure, but I could be wrong.
There are probably some. Hey, listen, there's probably some kids out there listening. Like, who's George Costanza? Yep, no deals, guys.
He's the dad in Modern Family. There you go.
Good shout by you there. Once again, that is Jonathan Dockler, who won a circuit ring earlier this year, 2020 WSOP.com Super Circuit Series. That was a $525 No Limit Hold'em monster stack. And here we have him in another $500, this time a bracelet up for grabs. You asked me earlier what I thought about the whole bracelet thing. You and I are on the same page in this. I think for all the people out there that have won bracelets, congratulations. I think it's amazing. I don't think all bracelets are created equal. I mean, for me, the 50 Players Championships, the 10K 6 Max, the main event, there are a handful out there, the 10K PLO, 25K PLO. There's a handful of tournaments out there that I think are, and bracelets that are, they stand above the rest, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
That said, I think it's still unbelievably difficult to win a bracelet. It is unlikely, no matter how good a poker player you are, that you will ever win a bracelet in your lifetime. So I don't think having an online series this summer diminishes somebody winning a bracelet last year, 2 years ago, 5 years ago at all, one bit. And as far as I'm concerned, if you're a bracelet winner, congratulations. You are in you're in the minority.
Yeah, that's a special club that neither of us have been invited to.
Ace King versus nines. There's the king. Oh my.
Oh wow.
What a cooler. And that developed really quick. Nines versus Ace King. It got all in. And they are heads up for it all. Tony Dunst. I was about to answer the question here. B Nana Man asking, does anyone know who these people are in real life? Well, third place finisher, Panoramic. That is Tony Dunst, the WPT commentator, bracelet winner. He finishes in third. He takes home $57,881. And here we have it, Art Vandelay versus Mad Titan. We know nothing about Mad Titan, unfortunately. Wait.
God, that was... What do we got?
Well, actually, I'm going to go back here. We do know something about Mad Titan. We know his name is Justin Turner.
Justin Turner? Wait, is
Justin
that?
Turner.
Hold
No,
on, I gotta.
I do not. That is not the Justin Turner. I don't believe, unless you know him. His career live tournament winnings 44,000. He has one online circuit cash.
Does he have a wait? What are his WSOP results, or do you say total
Nothing.
tournament results?
He has 6 World Series of Poker cashes, 4 circuit cashes, 1 online circuit cash. Total live tournament winnings $44,000. He will he'll dwarf that today. Both these players are obviously guaranteed 80,000. First place is 130,000.
I was thinking of a different Turner then, because he got second place to my buddy Bob in some massive field World Series tournament for it was like a 1K with like 500K to first or something like that.
Event number 1, the $500 No Limit Hold'em Kickoff. What a way to kick it off. Mike the Mouth makes a deep run. Phil Hellmuth makes a deep run.
What's Mike's screen name?
The Mouth, like 3-3 or something like that.
Uh-oh. I thought it was gonna be something fun like the Earth is flat or something like that, or sheeple.
I would like that. That would be great.
Yeah, I'd enjoy that too.
So Mad Titan is Justin Turner. Art Vandelay, as we have mentioned, that is Jonathan Dockler, who is looking for his second significant score of this year. Got an all-in. By the way, what they're playing for, essentially $50,000 and the most coveted piece of jewelry in all of poker, a gold bracelet. For those of you who don't know, Ali Najad and Maria Ho put together a preview show for this entire series. They're also doing recaps once a week, so you can check those out as well. I know Ali referred to the bracelet as digital hardware. Make no mistake, you will be getting the real thing, a gold bracelet. Yeah, John Turner is a GOAT. John Turner is Pearl Jammer from way back. Mm-hmm. This is Justin Turner. By the way, John Turner, though, Pearl Jammer actually made a deep run on this as well.
Why not? I feel like I would know his name on here, but I guess I don't.
Pair of sixes, good for that pot as Art Vandelay approaches 20 million chips, just under a 4-1 chip advantage over Mad Titan. Man, what a result for Mad Titan. I mean, he could have easily finished in 9th, 8th, 7th place. Anything higher than that was gravy. And here he is, locked up $80,416, and he's going for his first bracelet. Of course, one of these players will win their first ever World Series of Poker bracelet.
At one point, he was so thrilled to get the pay jump from 5th to 4th. I guarantee it. And now he's just got an actual shot at winning it. It's pretty sick.
Jesse Sylvia here alongside me. Good luck to you the rest of the series if we don't get to talk about that. Say hi to your dogs and your beautiful better half. Jose Aguilar asking why this is not on Twitch. We're on Twitch as well. You can head over to, I think it's on the WSOP channel on Twitch. It's on PokerGo's Facebook channel. And here, of course, on YouTube, it's on the Poker Central. Right now, I'm paying attention to the YouTube chat, but that may or may not change. I'll let you guys know at the start of each show.
Just stay here, man. It's nice.
I mean, listen, I'm not actually going to leave. It's just a matter of which chat I pay attention to.
No, I'm saying it to him. Like, just stay in this chat.
Yeah.
It's cozy here. Got a good environment.
It's all good, right? I mean, listen, if you really like watching shows on Twitch, watch this on Twitch. I don't care. Teach their own, man. Whatever makes you happy. Exotic Anthony says, it's everywhere, like the virus. Sad but true.
Where did you and the Moon family go to in Utah, by the way?
We went to a beautiful place called Duck Creek Village. Limp in here from Mad Titan. Blinds, by the way, 160, 320. It's a little national forest that is nestled between Zion and Bryce National Parks. A little hidden gem, which maybe not hidden anymore, but just it's the nuts. It's awesome. I might
Yeah.
I might buy land there and build my own home. It's so cool.
No. Oh, so there's like a whole. It's not like a getaway type of thing. Like there's like a whole town out there and everything.
But not really. No, it's like a small little town. I mean,
Yeah, yeah,
there's like 4 shops. Actually, old school. You remember Trevor Pope?
yeah.
Yeah, Trevor Pope, of course, finished. I believe he won the 5K 8 max back in 2012. My memory is being challenged right now, but I'm pretty good at remembering hands. I'm pretty good at remembering final tables. I believe it was Trevor Pope who came into the final table with like 50% of the chips, crushed through the entire final table, winning a bracelet back in 2012. His dog was on the rail at the Thunderdome, at the Rio, in the Amazon room. Trevor Pope, by the way, who's kind of an entrepreneur, he actually has an ATV business there. So he rents out ATVs. So we rented an
Oh wow,
ATV
he's
from him.
out there too. No
He doesn't
way.
live there. He doesn't live there, but he's got a business there.
Wow, he's doing it.
Dave
I thought he was
Franken,
just
yes,
doing the lake thing.
he does the lake thing. He does that. He's everywhere, man. Dave Franken confirming, yes, each and every event is one day. It's a one-day event. You start the tournament at 3 p.m. Pacific. By 3 in the morning, 12 hours later, you're a bracelet winner. Why would you
Yeah.
not play on WSOP.com? Mad Titan facing an all-in here. He is now down to 3 million. Vandelay is kind of running over him a little
I mean,
bit here. Obviously, we can't see the cards.
when you put it like that, online poker's kind of the best. Like you can win a bracelet and 150 grand in one day, and people are like complaining about it on the internet.
Well, that's what I mean. What are you complaining about? Like I said, I
Yeah,
mean, I'd love to be at the Rio. We would all love to be at the Rio, but
yeah,
obviously that can't happen. So in lieu of that, hey, let's celebrate poker. And as far as I'm
yeah,
concerned, the World Series of Poker, it is the place to celebrate this wonderful game. There are so many people in this industry that love it. I mean, Jeff Platt, shout out to him again. The guy just on his own wanted to sweat Phil Hellmuth, so he decided to watch it and then stream it on his own Twitch channel.
yeah. That was
So
great, actually. I tuned into that for a little bit. I didn't realize who that Phil Hellmuth was still in there. Somebody in some group chat pointed out and then linked to Platt's Twitch stream, and I was just on there following along. You gotta watch Phil Hellmuth win a bracelet. There's just nothing. There's nothing better than that.
good stuff here. Art Bentley now up to 23 million. Mad Titan now down to 2.2 million chips. Blinds are 163.20. Do the math. He's got 7 big blinds. He's going to have to call off at some point because he is getting to the point now, Jesse, and tell me I'm wrong. He's getting to the point now where doubling up won't matter.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it doesn't matter if you keep folding back down, right?
Well, I mean, it's just getting to the point where if he doubles up from 2 to 4, he's just got so much more work to do. He's going to have to almost double up twice to get back in this.
Yeah, he's gonna need a lot of doubles here, or to win some other pots. I find it hard to believe that there's a lot of hands that you can call heads up versus jam on 6 big blinds. So I'm starting to find it hard to believe that he's not finding one of those hands, and maybe he's just being a bit overly tight.
Yeah, again, I don't know a ton about Mad Titan, but based on his poker resume, it doesn't look like he has that much experience. Art Vandelay is not only has been here, but he's been here recently. As I said, won a circuit ring at WSOP just in June. So you're talking about a guy who flying high, he's confident in his game. He's been here, he's closed it before. There's something to be said for that.
He's knocking on the door of a bracelet.
He certainly is right now.
Unattainable medal that neither of us have or may ever have, Tuchman. You know?
Hey, at least a one of us has won a World Series of Poker event. Just going to put that out there.
What did you win?
I won the 2006 media event. Yeah, maybe it's just a media event. And maybe I didn't get a bracelet for it, but I won it, okay? There's only one champion in that media event, and I won it.
I didn't know you won that. That's pretty sick, man.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for my bracelet.
That's awesome. I'm real proud of you right now.
Are you?
That's really cool. Yeah.
I think the funny thing
My
is I think
friend.
it's actually listed in the Hendon mob, in my Hendon mob, and of course the winnings say 0 because it was a media event. I did win
Mhm.
a lot of like fun stuff though. I think I got to give $10,000 to a charity of my choice, which was awesome. So there's some good
Mhm.
things out of there.
That's really cool. I didn't know you won anything.
Art Vandelay,
I'm just the only guy
22.9
without a
million.
win.
Yeah, hey, if you won, I can coach you.
Yeah. Whatever
Yeah.
you can give me to help me at the World Series, man.
Hey, listen, I watch a lot of these final tables. I know what it needs. I know what you need to get it done. Okay. And I still
Yeah.
remember that, I remember that heads up match versus Greg Merson. I feel like if you took an extra 40 seconds to make your decisions, maybe it would have worked out better.
I mean,
Sorry, I had to go there.
the thing is about that.
Oh, well, we got it all in here. King 5 versus 6s. Matt
Oh
Titan
man,
looking
he
for a
got the
double up, and
double.
he gets it. Art Vandelay got it in good. 5 cards away from a bracelet, but now it's back to work time as Mad Titan is back up to 5.5 million chips. Back to about a 4-1 chip advantage, a little bit less for our
Yeah.
friend Art Vandelay. One more double up, and Mad Titan is right back in this. Okay, I'm sorry. You were in the middle of defending your main event run.
No, there's no defense there. I don't know where I was going with it, but there was no destination that was going to be good in that conversation. So I got no defense. I was very slow. In fact, I was so slow that like a year or two later, I went back to watch it, and it's on YouTube. At least at the time, it was in like a 6 hour, different 6 hour chunks, right? So that's like a long video where like you can't pinpoint, you can't move that little scrolly bar like 5 seconds forward. You got to move it like 30 minutes forward. So I had to watch every single hand in real time because I couldn't just skip like 5 seconds ahead at the time. And now you could just click the arrows on your computer, but you couldn't at the time,
Right.
I believe. Um, and
Is
so I'm
it
watching
difficult
it.
watching that? Yes, go ahead.
Dude, I'm watching it, and Ashley's watching a movie in the same room, and all of a sudden I just lose it. And I'm like, I played so slow, and I'm just like yelling at myself. It was really bad.
Oh, that's awesome. In defense, I mean, you got coaching from Vanessa Selps, and she was worried about you giving off timing tells. So, I mean, there is a reason behind that. And, you
Don't
were
blame
more of an.
Vanessa for my
I'm
for
not
mine.
blaming Vanessa. I'm just saying that there were some, you got coaching. There were some, extenuating circumstances. You're playing for millions of dollars on TV. You were, more of an online player than a live player at the time. I mean, I get it.
Yeah. I mean, some of those things are actually true too.
Some of them. There you go.
Yeah.
Exotic Anthony says that now he's 22-1 to win. I would take 22-1 on Mad Titan right now. Hey,
Hmm.
I commentated on the Galfon Challenge earlier this year. I know about underdogs.
Yeah, that was sick. That was something fun to watch, man. I really enjoyed that. We're not, we're a rogue bunch, the poker community.
Oh, call. Sorry, we
I
got a
thought there
big
was an
pop
all
draw.
in. Yeah,
I
yeah.
thought it was an all in as well because I'm like, wow, we see a flop. No, it's a raise and a call, but still 2 million in the pot. Mad Titan only has 4.1 million behind. Queen 7-3, 2 clubs out there.
Yeah, we're a bit of an odd community. Definitely like a little weird, but I don't know. Sometimes we come together in really great ways.
No doubt. There's a fold. Mad Titan now up over 6 million chips. Can he crawl his way? Can he crawl his way back into this match? A double up, and they're basically even. Dave Franken is correct. No hole cards because we are watching this live. Take us back to 2012. We don't need hole cards. I will tell you, if you watch poker without hole cards, you will learn more. Just going to come out and say it.
Yeah.
All in here from Art Vandelay after the open from Mad Titan. Titan considering. No. Lets it go. Once again, tomorrow we're back at it. July 2nd, we've got the $1,000 No Limit Hold'em 8-handed deep stack. If Phil Hellmuth makes a run, Jeff Platt will probably put it on his Twitch channel. We got you covered. This final table went pretty quick, but this heads-up match actually going, pretty slow for an online heads-up, huh?
I'm starting to think these are some of the tighter heads-up players I've watched in a while. They did a lot of folding on 6 bigs, man.
Yeah, I know. Mad Titan is like 6 bigs. He's like, nah, I'll get a better spot. No, better spot.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, we don't know their hands. They could certainly just have folds every single time.
Yeah. I mean, listen, the guys, if you've got 6.5 bigs and you're looking down at 8 deuce, 7-3, 9-3, those are folds.
Yeah. Certainly possible.
Once again, it's Justin Turner, who is Mad Titan, versus Jonathan Dockler, who is Art Vandelay. Both players looking for their first ever bracelet. Art Vandelay looking to add to an amazing 2020, as he's already won a circuit ring this year.
It's kind of a fun turn card because most of Art's ace-X, a good chunk of Art's ace-X is going all in pre. So he's pretty devoid of aces. Mad Titan can definitely do a lot of betting here. I think Art's probably going to want to just pure check the turn and then, do some check raising with some stronger hands and mix in some bluffs. Okay,
Blinds
they're
are up
going to be
200,000,
short
400,000. Yeah, blinds are 200,000, 400,000. Mad Titan, under 15 big blinds. Again, these players playing for $50,000. That's the difference between first and second place. And of course, the gold hardware, a World Series of Poker bracelet. This will be the first one in 2020. We've got 31 in 31 days, the whole month of July. Change your sleep schedule. Join us each and every night here on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, wherever you want to watch. I don't care. Make sure you join us. Get your poker fix. I mean, honestly, listen, I love poker. I've always loved poker, but I've never loved it so much. I didn't realize how much I loved it until middle of June, and I'm walking around my house and I'm just like, poker. I need poker. Mad Titan now down to 4.8.
Honey, could you just slow roll me and then berate me for going all in with the hand that I did so I can feel like I'm at the World Series of Poker right now.
Oh, we got an all in here. 10-6 versus 4s. Not out of the woods yet. Oh, there's a straight.
Oh, that's it.
That's it. That's it. Art Vandelay.
I mean, he had a 4 for the shot. Wow.
Right.
Wow, look at that animation. Let's go. He got his bracelet.
Well done.
Trophy.
That is amazing. So Art Vandelay takes home $130,000. Congratulations, of course, to Mad Titan. Justin Turner takes home $80,416. What a way to kick off the 2020 World Series of Poker online bracelet series. Jesse, man, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Real excitement here. It took us 37 days. That's right. This would have been day 37 of the World Series of Poker. But on this day, we award our first World Series of Poker bracelet, and that goes to Art Vandelay. He'll take home $130,000 for first place. He won a circuit ring earlier this year. Today, he takes home his first ever World Series of Poker bracelet. We are back at it tomorrow. July 2nd, we have the $1,000 No Limit Hold'em 8-handed deep stack. We'll be back here. Call it midnight, 1 in the morning. We don't know exactly, but once we get to the final table, we will be here. Make sure you join us. Jesse, once again, thank you so much. For everybody at Poker Central, for everybody at the World Series of Poker, and Jesse Sylvia, I'm David Tuchman. Thanks so much for joining us. Congratulations to Art Vandelay. Goodbye and good night.